Next, I would like to introduce you to our next speaker. I don't see him at the moment. Alexander Chistoedov. And he will tell you about mixing Blend4Web content with web layout.
And hi everyone, I'm Alex from Blend4Web, and I want to introduce you some tips and tricks in using the 3D graphics in the web layout to improve the usability of your web projects. It is my job to make sure. Oh, it scrolls automatically. I don't know what is it. The significant part of my time is spent on classic web layout prototyping. So when I come across the native integration of 3D content with the improved logic into the web, I've noticed some new tips in the prototyping. Before I start, I want to note some basics, 5 main criteria of the content organization. The first is the matter. What are we making it for? What purpose do we set? Our site, the layout of it, totally depends on content. We have to place, and the purpose we set. The second is the usability. Who are we making it for? How does our target group use our site and internet in general? Prototyping, it's not all about arranging UI elements. We must think about the narrative style. The third, honestly. Try to find a right image of your business. Be intelligent and polite. No conscious man will trust to the flashy lead forms with the counters of offer inspiration. Forget this trash. Just stay focused on. Stay focused on the usability. Fourth, grid prototyping. If you have a site with long-term design, like Google or Yandex, you have organized your modular grids perfectly for convenient management and design the current structure in the future. Next is the quality and optimization. If you created a literal web layout, you must think about interaction. The usability mostly depends on the feel of the page and on how it calls back on your interactions, right? So that's all. Let's go to the point. Before this, I want to show you the worst examples of web design. Don't do this. It's terrible for our users. Take care of them, love them. And the first tip is about scrolling. You're supposed to scroll the page down, and that we see a 3D scene. So that when we hook down our finger on it and try to scroll, you just rotate the scene. Yeah? It's not okay. It's not our expectation. First, we should do to lock the camera on the 3D scene. And then we can set the checkpoint navigation on our 3D scene. For example, this scene contains a garden with the village house and so on. So, when we want to lead our user through the scene, maybe far, maybe into the house, just play the checkpoint. Maybe here we have a checkpoint, we click it, and we go through the building. Okay? Next, hold the space for HTML div on the screen. I mean this. It's a space you can hook down the finger and scroll down the page normally. Right, and this shows your composition of your 3D components and 2D. I mean hypertext and HTML content. Next, how to make your hardware alive. For example, you have a site containing many 3D scenes. What does it mean for your browser and WebGL? Is this. So, to optimize your 3D site, you must think about about couple of things that I want to show. First, stop render for scrolling out scenes. For example, you scroll down and this scene is vanishing to the top. When they go to the end of our screen, you can disable the rendering of it. It will allow you to scroll your page without any lags or freezes. Next, fix or decrease the amount of your 3D scenes. Yeah, you just can place here the 2D photos here and here. It's normal. The third, as Eugen said, use the level of details. For example, you have a front plan in the 3D scene. It can be a grass or car. The medium plan, object plan, main plan is a house or something else. And you have distant plan. It may be silhouettes of the forests or trees or so on. Use the low level of detail for the far objects and use the high level of detail for the main. Save on your optimization. And the next and the last of this tip, save on the post-processing. I mean particles, post effects, lens effects, blurring, depth of field, and so on. If you use a mobile phone, it will work not so perfectly as you want. Just disable these effects on mobiles or on the tablets and enable it for the desktop with the strong machine. Next tip will be about our using our site, our 3D site, as if I've been doing it all my life. I mean the native using of 3D in the classic web interfaces. First, place 3D into usable model, not outside. Think about compositing the HTML part, classic part, and 3D. Don't make a flashy attraction and shooting out of our structure thing. Use native technologies, not plugging in like this. If you use Unity engine for placing 3D content of your website, you will if you a new user who doesn't know what is WebGL or what is framework or what is Flash, Unity, and etc., you will see this. What does it mean? A man like me could click here, but the rest of the audience of site just leave it. Use 2D caps for old phones and browsers. Some people use pretty old devices. It's like Windows, the first Windows phones, or it may be Symbian phones, yeah, which doesn't come compatible with the WebGL and 3D. Just replace the 3D content by the 2D content, right? And the last of this tip: do not render environment if you want to avoid visual frames right in the layout. I mean, if you're going to organize a web store, it's just a grid with the products. It can be rings or milk or something else, or cars. And to leave the borders of the 3D scene, you can do not render the environment in the JSON scene, and then you will place just an object above your layout, without any edges, without any borders, without any limits. Yeah, and the next tip will be about the graphic design. Don't use 3D text only for show. Use 3D text only for show. Use 2D hypertext as possible as you can. Yeah. In this, I want to show that how 3D text renders. The point of it, the text may be placed into the 3D scene created in this scene, and take it to the space, to the expanse. And when we have a camera with the depth of field, with the focal range, it could be blurry. It's not okay. All we need in the website, in the content part, is a good readability. So think about it. Next, compose hypertext with JSON like with pics and videos. I mean, use hypertext with the Blend4Web scenes as with pictures or videos. You can put it above the scene, like above the video, like above the photo. You can use the transparency mask between the text and scene for better readability. Or something else that you do with the text and pictures. So Now I want to introduce you some tricky action for the compositing 3D content and 2D content. It will be work with the grids. In this example, I use a column grid. So if you want to organize content in your 3D scene that will look straight to the 2D components, you must use modular grids in the 3D scene, in the Blender. To do this, first, just place a screen size plane with the one-to-one content space grid texture to the near plane of frustum. Frustum is the cone, is the pyramid from your camera. Near plane is the picture rectangle in the picture space. Is what we see. Next, use it to organize your 3D content inside the scene. You have a 3D scene. It can be not parented to camera. It can be moved without the camera, or we can observe it by our camera. But we may have an elements which can be parented in the camera. It can be UI elements, but in 3D. And this way, it allows you to organize the 3D components of UI in 3D with the components of UI in 2D. So then you can enjoy the straight composition in your browser. It's not only the one solution. It's just mine solution. Yeah. So we move to summary, and this is some points that I detailed from it. First, Blend4Web is a very useful native engine without outstanding optimization. If you can work with this technology, you can make a fascinating design of your web project. Outstanding design. Second, to create a website with 3D elements, you have to understand principles and purposes perfectly. I mean the basics of web design, because web designer decides how to optimize graphics and UI firstly, then 3D designer. And the last tip, web designer with 3D modeling and texturing skills is a highly profitable specialist. It's a new kind of profession. And very profitable. So, thank you for watching. If you have some questions, I'm ready to do it.
So, yeah, Denis?
Maybe you can give some advice if I need to show near 600 text labels on the screen on the same time. It's like for map with different labels, and it's very critical to show all these labels with structure, beautiful labels with icons, borders, gradient, and so on. How it make with Blend4Web to show these 600 labels on the scene?
Okay. You can compose the 3D scene navigation with the other canvas, with these words, yeah. And when you when you move through your scene with the map, maybe you set the same event to the canvas with the text. It's very comfortable to make a complex scene.
Yeah. Other questions?
Hi, thank you very much. And that's kind of all I wanted to say. Just thank you, no question, because really I'm anticipating with great fear and trembling the moment when all the guys who do this crappy and basically shitty banners on Flash will learn about WebGL, and it will be disabled by default in browsers, and would be blockers for WebGL or something like that, and we won't be able to deliver our great products, our great applications to users without jumping through hula hoops or something like that. So yes, I'm strongly agree and strongly support your point. Let's make our WebGL content responsibly and deliver it responsibly to the users. Not to so we will be blocked like Flash and some other technologies out there. Yeah, thank you. It's really endless abilities. Just use it and enjoy.
Yeah, thanks. Questions from the online?
Can you provide real-life examples of websites that successfully incorporated 3D into their designs?
This time we recreated our Blend4Web website, and soon we can see our results. It will be very fascinating, really.
Yeah, thanks. Other questions? No. Okay, thanks, Alexander.